I had some crocodile in Zimbabwe a few years back, and it was really good.
Hey everyone, Bruce from What's Popping here. We are continuing with our Comic-Con Cape Town media coverage. We're going to be sharing the Marquand panel highlights from the main stage. Now before you watch the video, we had a chance to chat to him one-on-one. Thanks to my friends over at GES Cosplay. So if you want to check that video out, I will link it down in the description below. Had a great chat with him. We had a bit of fun playing a South African local knowledge quiz. He did a couple of impressions. We had a ton of fun. But anyways, I'm going to stop getting in your way. Let you go ahead and check out those Marquand main stage highlights.
How are we doing today?
Well, how are you?
Fantastic, fantastic. What did you get up to last night?
You know, I had dinner with you and your wife.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So, yeah.
We had some zebra.
What's that?
Had some zebra.
Zebra? Oh yeah, you did. How was that?
It tasted like zebra.
Who's had zebra here? No? I was tempted to try the crocodile, but I checked it out. So no? You say no? Don't do it? I had some crocodile in Zimbabwe a few years back, and it was really good, but you thinking no? Who likes crocodile here? Anybody? Okay, got a few. Just like literally 3 people? Man, okay.
Who likes pizza? Is that there? No, wait, me too.
I got really excited about pizza. There's only 3 people who like crocodile here? Man. Let's get the crocodile.
We should try pizza tonight.
Yeah, try pizza. All right.
So, first time in South Africa?
First time in South Africa, yeah. Well, technically I flew into Johannesburg Airport 8 years ago, but that doesn't count. But I was over there for like a 6 or 7 hour layover. But this is my first time properly in South Africa, and I'm loving it. Like, Cape Town is absolutely gorgeous. Everyone's been amazing so far. I'm excited. Hello. Hello. And, oh, Sailor Moon, nice. Yeah, just excited to be here and check out everything. I'm going to go to Table Mountain at some point. I heard Lion's Head was dope. And might go shark diving next week. I heard that's fun. Who's been shark diving? Anybody? All right, cool. Was it fun? Okay, cool. Maybe I'll go shark diving. So, yeah. And paragliding. Is paragliding safe? I was trying to set this backstage. Am I gonna die? I'm not gonna die. Okay. All right, cool. I'm gonna go paragliding then. Yeah.
It's good to know that your barometer is am I gonna die?
Am I gonna die? I'll do a lot of stupid shit. I've done some really dumb, dangerous stuff over the years, but like, I just want to know if I'm maybe gonna die. If you think I'm gonna be okay, I'll probably do it. You know, so, yeah.
So what's the wildest thing you've done up to this point then?
This year?
Yeah, this year. Let's go this year.
Actually, I've been pretty boring this year. I've just been working the whole time. So I've been doing a lot of fun stunts last month though on a film I was doing in Connecticut. It's a crime thriller, and I've just been getting beat up and beating up people, and it's been a lot of fun. Yeah. Like I got doused in gasoline and almost burned to death. That was a fun thing about what was happening. So that was cool. Yeah.
Get into that. There you go. That's video. So we're at a Comic-Con.
Yeah.
What's your fandom? Like, what's the thing that you're into?
When I was growing up, Star Wars was my big thing. Star Wars was like the thing that I just really glommed onto, and then it was X-Men. Like, X-Men, the animated series, was for me like the initial like entrance into the MCU and just all things comics. And then Batman, the animated series as well, was just also like, oh my god, this. I saw a Batman shirt earlier. Where are my Batman fans at? Anybody? Nice. Are you excited about the new movie? I mean, it's good to have Michael Keaton back, right? Like, I feel like for me, he is my Batman. So, I'm excited to see him do that again. But yeah, probably X-Men, Batman, Star Wars, a little bit of G.I. Joe. Yeah. Oh, nice. Where's my G.I. Joe fan? My one G.I. Joe fan. Nice. Cool. Oh yeah.
Still crying about not getting the USS flag as the Christmas gift. The big aircraft carrier.
Oh, so good.
So these guys clearly, you know, I think the last season of Walking Dead is just now on Netflix, so they might want to know a little bit about your time there.
You guys like it?
Yeah!
Wasn't it sad when Daryl died? Man, that really, it sucked, right? We were not expecting that. Oh, did you not know? Oh, no. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I spoiled that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, he died. The dog ate him, turns out. Crazy. But yeah. You didn't see that coming. Yeah. You're shaking your head. You don't know. There's an alternate ending. You'll see. You'll watch.
In the extended footage.
Exactly. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your time. How do you end up on Walking Dead? Because clearly the show's been on for a bit. You watch it?
Oh yeah, I was a fan for many years before I got on it, and I auditioned for it 2 times. I almost booked the role of Gareth, the cannibal leader of the Terminites. So I read for that, and I was so bummed when I moved the part because I thought that's such a great character. But then he got killed off after 4 episodes, so I was like, oh, actually, that was probably a good thing that I didn't book that role. But Andrew West, who played that character, just nailed it. I mean, I really, looking back, I feel like that was one villain that I wish they had extended his life on the show because he was so interesting to watch. And just the whole concept of the Terminites people, whatever Terminites, whatever you would call them, was such an interesting take on the apocalypse. Like, of course, if food is scarce, people are going to turn to cannibalism. Like, of course they are. But that was like the only group that touched on that. And I was like, you guys need to expand on that. That was really interesting. You know?
Well, and I think it was kind of hard because you spent like 3 seasons getting there, you hang out there for like 2 episodes, and then wrap. There's a lot of build-up. So you mentioned that was a character that you enjoyed watching and acted in. Who were some other actors that were amazing that got their time cut too short with it?
Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, for me, Herschel was at the top of my list of guys that I would have loved to have seen play forever on that show. Scott Wilson, who played Herschel, was just the most amazing guy in real life, and just one of the most wonderful humans I've ever met. Daryl, of course, it was really sad when he died. I was really hoping that Tyrese would live longer, because Tyrese was such an incredible, he was like the heart of that show, I felt like, in so many ways. And I was really hoping that he was going to live for a lot longer than he did, but yeah. And Shane, if I'm being honest, like, Shane was one of those characters that I'm like, man, I feel like he in season 2, he was where Rick wound up in season 8. You know, like, you can kind of make a case that, like, Rick got to Shane's place, it just took him more time, you know, so. Yeah.
So if we know that they're going to keep making Walking Dead until the zombie apocalypse.
The actual zombie apocalypse, yeah. Which may be around the corner.
So if you could make your own spin-off with any character alive or dead, who would you want to follow and see their storyline?
Ooh. I would honestly love to see a show just about Rick and Shane. Like, let's say that Shane doesn't die, and it's just Rick knows that Shane was hooking up with Lori, and she's passed on, maybe Carl's already passed on, and it's just the 2 of these men begrudgingly living with each other. It's like, you son of a bitch, I hate you, but we're gonna try to make a go of this, and like, then they just like get in all sorts of crazy adventures. That would be cool. I would watch that. Yeah.
So we started to hear your impersonations.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
How does that start? How do you get into doing that?
I was the youngest of 3 boys, and like the money was really tight growing up, and the only thing that made my parents laugh was Johnny Carson, which is he's a host of a Tonight Show in America. You probably never heard of, but like, we got one guy here. Yeah, 2. Wow. But it was like the only thing that made my parents smile, and the money was really tight in the 80s. Like, that's just kind of what I leaned into, you know? So it just kind of came from like wanting to make my parents smile, and it kind of just went from there, you know? So, yeah.
Very cool. So, when you're not acting, when you're not busy working, what's the hobby? What do you like to do in your spare time?
I like to rock climb a lot. I'm from Colorado, so like rock climbing is a big thing of mine. I love just being in the water as much as humanly possible. Although I don't get to spend much time in there because I'm always working. I play Legos a lot. I build Legos. Any Lego fans out there? Nice. Who plays video games? What are you guys playing? Fortnite? Call of Duty? Yes. Apex Legends? Nice. Yeah. Oh, nice. Genshin Impact? Nice. What? Anybody else?
God of War.
Which one?
God of War.
God of War. Oh, nice. Yeah. God of War's a good one too. Yeah. So when I'm actually able to play games, we were talking about the Stream Deck last night. They're selling one at what's the name of their group? I think it's Alpha something. They're selling one for like 19,000 RAM, and I was like, maybe I should get one of those. But yeah, so the Stream Decks are dangerous. I feel like I would get nothing done if I had one of those.
Yeah.
They're so amazing.
I meant to bring it with me today so you can mess around with it. I figured I'd just be spending all day back there. Sure enough, the new game came out, so that
Steam decks are amazing.
yeah, would be very, very distracting. So do you have a favorite video game then?
Right now, Call of Duty. I mean, it's so funny. I play zombie mode on Call of Duty a lot, which is ridiculous. In Modern Warfare, it's like I can't escape my job. I just like go from killing zombies all day to killing zombies at night, and I'm like, what am I doing? But yeah, I mean, I just love shooters. Like I grew up with my brothers teaching me about Wolfenstein and Doom and all these shooter games. GoldenEye. Oh. And by the way, have you guys played GoldenEye 64? I heard they modded it out and released it. Anybody? GoldenEye 64? No? No one's played GoldenEye 64? Damn, okay. Oh, wow, okay, one guy. Nice. Hell yeah. You guys gotta play GoldenEye 64 at some point, it's amazing. Yeah.
You ever have a moment where you sit in front of a group of people and you realize you're an old guy?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm not old, shut up. Don't age me.
All right, this is where we want to go to the audience for some questions. So if you have a question for Ross, just raise your hand. We got some folks with some yellow shirts there. We'll bring your microphone. Just hold the microphone as close to your mouth as possible. Speak loudly so we can hear you.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, I'm on. How was that? Like, did it taste bad? Was it like a skincare routine?
Yeah, well the nice thing, they don't tell you about this, but the guts actually have exfoliating elements in there, so your skin is actually quite clean and glistening afterwards. But now, the funny thing about the blood that Greg Nicotero and K&B use, it's one of two flavors. They give you a choice of cherry or mint. And sometimes I would get freaky and mix them up, and get like a cherry mint thing going on, which is really cool. It's like, you know, inevitably, like you're saying, like once you get the guts and everything on your face, it's gonna dribble into your mouth because you're sweating like crazy. It tasted amazing, actually.
Really?
Oh.
So would you eat it, like, outside of the show?
I mean, like I wouldn't go out of my way to like be eating fake blood and stuff, but to be honest with you, it's pretty damn tasty. Like it was not a bad taste. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good to meet you.
Right over here.
So, actually, get to the question. Meeting Aaron on The Walking Dead, right? He was the absolute perfect segue into, just the characterization of Alexandria. So, great job all round. My question, though, you did Walking Dead, and it's very practical effect heavy. But on the other hand, there was Avengers that you started, which is completely mocapped. I'd love to hear about the challenges and the differences between the two methods of acting.
Oh, that's a great question. By the way, is it Attack on Titan?
Hell yeah.
Nice. Hell yeah. Who watches Attack on Titan? Anybody? Oh my god. That's like one of my favorite animes of all time. I'm rewatching it now, so put on it. Yeah. So good, right? Yeah. It's amazing. I haven't seen season 4. You guys? Is it amazing? I know. I've been traveling too much. I don't know. I gotta get on that. But yeah. So the thing with The Walking Dead is when you're like you pointed out, it is all practical. So like you are in the woods, covered in zombie guts, covered in real sweat, covered in fake dirt, fake blood. You've got ticks and mosquitoes and these no-see-ums which bite up your body all over. Like you're in the shit. Like it's not an easy job to just like sink your teeth into. But with mocap, with Avengers, you're literally wearing like pajamas, and the pajamas have computer chips sewn in all throughout your body, right? So when you're walking around, when you're moving in space, it's capturing all that data in real time, and you can see yourself on computer screens around the room to know how you're going to look in like a basic 3D model, even with the hood and everything, which was really cool to like see how Red Skull was going to look, in a very rudimentary fashion as it was happening, right? But the nice thing about that is, since you're not worried about costumes or makeup and everything, once they get the dots on the face and the head camera on, you're good to go. And so it's still your expression, it's still your eyes moving and your face and everything, but all the real work happens after the fact. And that's done by those amazing computer animators who don't get nearly enough praise for what they do. Those are the guys that really make places like Vormir and all these incredible worlds come to life. And it was such a weird thing to be at the premiere, knowing full well that when we shot the movie, it was in a room literally that looked just like this. I mean, when I tell you it looked just like this, it was almost like identical to this. There was no set pieces really. There was like a ramp so that it could like appear that I was floating down. just to like show the height difference, but that was it. And everything else got added after the fact. It was weird, yeah, so that's a great question, yeah.
Is it working?
Yes.
Yes. Hello.
Big fan of your work, loved what you did on What If, Invincible, and I just want to know, would there be any like fictional character that you'd want to play or impersonate? Like maybe anyone, comics, film, TV, anything?
That's a great question. Well, as a kid, I always wanted to be Wolverine. I think a lot of us were like, that was like every guy's goal to play Wolverine someday or be Wolverine someday. Because I was a very angsty, emo kid, and I was like, oh, no one understands me. And Wolverine was like, he gets it. This guy got so much pain, and I think all of us as pubescent teenagers like understood that struggle. But I feel like Cal Dodd from X-Men Animated Series did such a great job with that, and then Hugh Jackman did such an amazing job that I would never want to touch that character. So now I think it would be really interesting to play someone who hasn't really been done. And there's a character in Marvel Comics who was actually Wolverine's foe, named Omega Red, and he was like a Russian super soldier who had adamantium serum in him, and instead of claws, he had these tentacles that would come out of his arm, and that was pretty badass. So I feel like I would love to don the Russian accent and be Omega Red. That would be pretty dope. Yeah. So,
Thanks, man.
Thank you, man.
All right, got time for one more.
Hi girls. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you coming through. Being such a prolific voice actor, when you're looking at a brand new character, what do you draw on to come up with a voice as opposed to doing your impressions? When you draw on your impressions a lot when you are coming up with the character voice?
Oh, gotcha. Sorry, it's hard to hear with the speaker right here.
Now, for some reason, that microphone is not in the monitor, but the other one is.
Oh, gotcha.
Do you look what number's on the monitor?
I got the gist of the question. I usually just look at the body. So like with Invincible, obviously he was once, the character I played in Invincible was once Abraham Lincoln, and there's all these different depictions of Abraham Lincoln throughout the years. So I tried to add a very statesman approach and sort of this kind of tight jaw, voice with also years and years of being alive. I always look at the body type, like with anybody who's like hunched over and maybe sits too far. Like James Gandolfini always used to look from The Sopranos, like he always used to sit very far. Like, what are you doing here? I'll break your legs. Like how you sit on your body and how you move your that does change the sound of your voice. So I really feel like every one of us is basically like a woodwind instrument, and depending on how you hold your body, depending on how you move and how confident you are, how not confident you are, that will change the sound of your voice. So I always think about what they're wearing, how they hold their body, and that usually informs the sound of their voice more than anything else. Yeah, thank you.
So if you could cosplay at a convention, who would you cosplay as?
Ooh, great question. I mean, Loki would be very high up there. Loki's my favorite character in the MCU, I would say.
All right.
Like Tom Hiddleston just played that character perfectly, so yeah. But who would you be?
Who would I say?
I know. Moon Knight. I would be Moon Knight.
You'd be Moon Knight. All right, but which Moon Knight?
Well, that's a great question. Okay. I mean, I like the dapper, like suited Moon Knight. That's a very good look. But I think also the Cape Moon Knight, that's also pretty cool. So I don't know.
So you've been here in Cape Town for a bit. You're having a good time. How's your time in Cape Town?
I've been loving it. I keep joking that I want someone to kidnap me and keep me here because I don't want to leave. So if you guys want to just keep me here, let me know. Put in your car or whatever. That'd be great. Because I don't want to leave. I really don't.
So what have been some exciting things you've been doing while you're here?
Well, mostly just, I've been pretty much at the hotel and here pretty much all the time, but a fun little thing happened a few days ago. I knew that my friend Callan McAuliffe, who also worked in The Walking Dead, who plays Alden, of course, I knew he was on this massive sojourn around the world from Argentina down to Antarctica, and he texted me the other day, he says, I saw you on Instagram, are you in Cape Town? And I said, yeah, why? He said, I'm in Cape Town too. No. And here he is, guys. Callan McAuliffe. So yeah, he just got off a boat. He was on a ship for 52 days. 52 days, and it was a proper pirate ship. Like this thing was, I think, built in what, the 1800s?
This one was built in 1911. It's built after the fact of the old triple-masted tall ships.
And I think it's still actually near the waterfront. You can see it. You can see the flags at the top of the mast there. Go toward it and have a look. It's really pretty.
He almost died a few times too, right?
Well, we're not going to talk about that. It's a positive thing.
Let's say, is your mother still here?
She is somewhere, yeah.
All right, then, you don't talk about how many times you almost died. It was a wonderful pleasure cruise, like no rough seas. It was
very luxurious.
It was like Carnival Cruise Line.
Placid waters. So these are some of the first people, you are some of the first people that I've seen in 52 days, other than those on the ship. So congratulations.
Also, give it up for like, who here would actually be on a boat for that long? Would anybody be on a boat for 52 days where you actually had to be manning the sails and everything? And literally no sailors, okay. I thought it would be a lot of fun, and I think next time you do it, if you want, I would be happy to be
I'd like to.
one of your deckhands or whatever.
I think it's crazy you paid them to work.
Yes. That's right. I paid them to effectively cosplay as an 18th century seaman. That was the idea. I feel some element of danger in my otherwise very privileged existence.
Exactly. So how did you guys meet on set? Like how did that happen? Like how did you all become such good friends?
We were both in this TV show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. No, that's what I said.
Oh yeah. How did we meet?
I think, well, because we didn't really have any scenes together in the first season. He was one of the saviors who was like one of the reluctant saviors who didn't really want to help Negan, but he had to because he was going to force into
Because
it.
he knows more about my character than I do. I'm just going to.
I would say we talk. Did you say that?
Yeah, no, that's true.
And we never really had much interaction except when you were locked up in the prison at Hilltop. We met there, and
Yeah, we met through the prison bridge.
yeah, me and Maggie were like looking at all the prisoners and we're like, oh, this guy seems nice. It sounds like he didn't really want to be there in the first place in the Savior world. And then I got to chatting with him, and I thought he was American at first because he was doing this really great like DiCaprio-esque accent. And then I started chatting with him, and like, this guy's from nowhere I've heard of because his accent's all over the place. It sounds like he could be Australian, could be Irish, could be South African at times.
It's getting more and more confused as well because I just spent nearly 2 months on a ship full of Germans, so I wouldn't be surprised if I started speaking into but yeah, just got on set. We became fast friends because we're kind of fairly similar people, and now I'm calling kind of my de facto older brother, which is nice.
I like that you call me older brother, not your father. That's cool. I'm not old enough to be your dad. Well, am I? You're what, 20, what?
28.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Am I your
In some cultures.
Wait a minute. I'm 41. Wait a minute.
No, the answer is no.
Oh, no. Wait, there was that one time.
That's what we're All right, so starting right now, just for fun, because y'all do act, you're going to speak in your American accent, and you're going to speak in his accent.
I'm not doing my American. You should definitely try mine because he's one of the only people who's ever been able to come close. Him and Cooper Andrews, who's also on the show.
Yes, Cooper Andrews who plays Jerry. Jerry on the show, yes. He's a jovial chap, much like this one right here. And yes, it's sort of half Irish, well not half, but more 30% Irish and Gaelic. I don't know what it is, like Gaelic and Scottish and South African and what I don't know what it is.
Everyone thinks
It's a lovely accent.
Everyone on earth thinks that I'm trying to intentionally impersonate their accent and so insult them. But I've had someone's described it to me as like a mix of all of the Allied powers of World War II. So it's probably, I don't know. It'll keep changing. I'll talk to y'all in 10 years. You're gonna sound like something. It's a mess. It's a clusterfuck. I'm in a pot.
He's like a sponge. You really just absorb so many different accents.
I don't want to take up all the things. This is your panel. I'm just an accessory.
Oh, they're excited to get bonus extras today. So I'll ask this question for both of you, and you've talked about it a lot, and we talked about it at dinner, and I said I was going to bring it up. You did a lot before you finally had your breakout role where people recognize you. And a lot of people, nobody talks about that. They talk about like, oh, all of a sudden, boom, here you are, you're a big star. But you moved to LA and you did a lot of stuff before you made it on screen. So talk about that.
Yeah, I had like 5 major survival jobs before I got on The Walking Dead, and one was I was a cater waiter, so you would go like events like this and you would be handing out trays and emptying trash and all that stuff. I was a bartender for a bit. I was a process server, which I don't know if they have those out here, but it's basically where you go to someone's house and you serve them legal papers and say, hey, you've been summoned to court. And oftentimes the people who are being summoned to court don't want to be summoned to court, so they got a gun on them or a knife on them, so you have to bring a gun with you too. And I never had a loaded gun, but I had a prop gun essentially, and it would just be in case. I would just pull it up above my shirt, like, don't do this.
There's some people who associate your face with the worst moment of their life.
That's not true.
They hear the word hatred and they see Rossi.
Yeah, I mean, it was a job, and it was a really low-paying job too. It was only like $12 an hour, but when you're desperate, you're broke, you do dumb stuff for money. And the dumbest thing I did for money, by far, I was a human guinea pig for medical studies. So yeah, don't ever do this, kids. It's a terrible idea. I ruined my liver for years because of this, but they would test.
Your body's designed.
Yeah, I mean, like they would test drugs on all sorts of people who were broke and desperate for very little money again, just to see if these drugs would work on healthy patients. And I did that for 12 years, and then my stomach like almost felt like it was going to expire. That was folding in on itself. And then I decided I would never do it again. And then a year later, I got to Walking Dead. It was so weird how stuff works out. But
What was your very first role on screen? Or role or time on screen? Like the very first time you were like, I was in something, and I'm right there, Mom.
I was an extra on Flags of Our Fathers, the Clint Eastwood movie, and I was a dying soldier next to Ryan Felipe. And you saw me for like 2 seconds, and that was it. But that was my big thing for a long time. And that was a body double for Brian Krause on Charmed. Did you guys ever watch Charmed? Yeah. So I was his body double for a while. That's how I got my SAG card. Yeah. I was here. Was it quite difficult? Well, you were a child actor first, and you did.
Yeah, I was corrupted early. I came to the States and I got very lucky. The first audition that I ever did in LA was for this movie called Flipped. I don't know how many of you have seen Flipped. You've seen Flipped. The Rob Reiner movie. It's beautiful. But the longer I live, the more I love it. But I played this character named Bryce in this Warner Brothers feature directed by Rob Reiner, who's the hero of mine, especially now. And that was one of the first things I ever did. And so I was like, well, I'm abandoning all dreams of being a physicist. I don't have to act in them anyway. And I decided to become an actor that very moment.
That's what those guys you're talking about. What those guys that just gets the job just like you're talking about. Some people just show up and like, hey, most of them are having some sort of accent. You ever notice that?
That's the thing. If you have an accent in Hollywood, you will do just fine. If they know you're just another American, they're like,
Go lay next to Ryan Felipe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So you both auditioned for Walking Dead. Had you seen The Walking Dead prior to auditioning for it?
Yeah, I'd seen the first season, I think when it was coming out, and then I've been a big Lord of the Rings guy my whole life, so when Game of Thrones turned out, the duel between The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones fell in favor of Game of Thrones for me, and so I didn't watch much of The Walking Dead. But then when it was cast on, I watched a little more of it. But I do like it. That's your question.
Oh no, I was just, so he told us about his first day on set. Do you remember your first day on set? Who was the first person you met?
Might have been Ron Cohen, yeah, although maybe not, because my first day on set was as part of a chain gang. Just wrote to a bunch of people. Most of them I'm still friends with, because I think it's kind of a traumatizing experience. And yeah, otherwise it was sort of a blur. It was very hot. It was my first day properly shooting in the Atlanta, the Georgian heat and humidity. And I remember thinking, God, I hope I don't become a series regular on this show, because this weather is awful. And that's probably why it happened.
Probably. Exactly. So we got some folks with microphones out here. Like go to the audience for some questions. So if you have some questions, just raise your hand.
Hello again.
Hello again.
Yeah, Thursday. In The Voice, can you tell me how to obtain the Soul Stone?
Okay. I'm trying to remember. This was like 5 years ago we did that. No, 6 years ago. Geez.
In order to take the stone, you must sacrifice that which you love. The soul for the soul.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Now I'd like you to order your dinner from last night.
I'll make the calamari with anchovies on the side, yes. Captain America!
I saw a Captain America shirt earlier. Where is that? I saw a cap shirt. Who's wearing a cap shirt? Yeah, I saw. You're hiding now. We got another question? Oh, right here. Spider-Girl. No? Okay. No. Right here. We got one right. Oh, yes. Go ahead. She's got the mic.
How was it like with the old Ultron?
Oh, hey, unfortunately never got on. Oh, well, on Infinity, what if? Are you talking about that?
On the Walking Dead.
The Gauntlet? Oh, yes, sorry. Oh my God. I thought you were talking about the Infinity Gauntlet from Avengers.
Been around a lot of gauntlets.
Well, that's the funny thing. Like when they made that, I literally told Greg, our boss, who made the props and everything. I was like, this looks so much like the Infinity Gauntlet. Was this on purpose? And he was like, kind of. And I was like, okay, I see what you did there. But it's crazy because it's basically like made to my exact specifications. You dip your hand in this epoxy goo, and then you let it sit in there for a while, like 30 minutes I think, and they crack it. It's like a cast basically. They fill it and then build a model or a mold after that. And it was very tight there, but once you get it crammed in there, it's screwed up with 3 in the palm and 3 on the arm, and it's scratching it up with straps right here. So once it's on, you don't want to take it off because it's a pain in the ass. Usually we'd have that on for like 12, 15 hours a day. So I hated it when it was on, but it looked cool. But the Mace song was my favorite because you really could do some damage with the metal ones. You could actually break windows and stuff like that. That was fun. Thank you. That's a great question.
So the Mace is on your left hand?
Yeah, they asked, actually Angela, the showrunner, asked which hand, because they knew that they wanted to cut my arm off. They said, which arm do you want to lose? And I said, well, I'm right-handed, so I should probably lose my left hand.
That was a really smart move.
I think so, but to be honest with you, I wish I could cut the other one off because when you're punching, it's really weird to punch with your non-dominant hand. So I kind of wish they cut the right one off. The worst part was when you had to go to the bathroom. That sucked, especially with the metal one. You can't just take it on and off, so you're like going to the bathroom, you're like, okay.
But I remember the shape of it. It was kind of a handy semi-closed finger grip, right? You can get some toilet paper in there.
The metal one, there was a bar in the middle you held on to, but the rubber one, the hard rubber one, you had to kind of smash your fingers up like this and cram it up there because it was so tight. Yeah.
Up the glove.
Up the glove. Yes. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. What was your best experience on The Walking Dead for both of you?
I mean, working with them was a pretty awesome experience. I mean, like, there's a few people that I love working with more than anybody, and that would definitely be Callan, Cassidy McAuliffe, who played Lydia, and Cooper Andrews, who was Jerry. They were just, and continue to be just the happiest. Actually, you guys saw Tati just a second ago. She's very, very similar to that vibe, just like happy, never had anything negative to say, just really positive people to work with. And when you're working for 7.5 months straight in the blistering heat and the blistering cold, you want to work with people that are fun to work with. And he was always, just a blast to show and work with.
Yeah, my answer will be similar, so I'm trying to think of a slightly different one, but you don't always retain the people that you work with. Sometimes you work for months with some folks and it's a bit of a social petri dish, but then it all just evaporates when you're done. But it's always so wonderful when you get to keep friends, and I feel like friends for life. And so my answer is much the same. The fact that I was able to work with people like them that I keep is a beautiful thing. But if I had to think of a specific moment that'll live on in my head, there was a scene, I think in season 9, we did a lot of horse riding in season 9. And there was a scene where I got to ride manfully up to a walker and dismount the horse and then lob a spear at the walker. And all in one smooth, satisfying motion. And I've always, wanted to do that. I didn't know exactly how I wanted to do it, but there was a part of my brain that was like, at some point I want to dismount a horse and throw a spear at that guy. And I did it, and it looked great. And the walker goes flying into a tree. So, yeah, check that box.
Great question.
How about your worst experience? Like, did you fall off a horse or anything like that?
I can't talk about my worst experience on the show, but to be honest, summon tears for 10 days straight, essentially, over and over again, because you're not only contemplating your own demise. If you don't get killed, one of your friends is going to get killed. So you have to really be terrified. You have to show that look of terror constantly, but also know that even if it's not you, it's going to be your friend dying, and that's going to suck too. So that was probably the most satisfying as an acting exercise, but the most arduous emotional journey we ever had on the show.
Yeah, I didn't have any moments quite like that, but there was a scene where I had to wear a prosthetic. I was a captain of the Whisperers briefly, and I had to wear one of their masks. And again, this is the Jordan heat, which I think turns out is my chief enemy. Just the weather. Humidity. Heat. Yes. Exactly. Because I grew up in Australia, and I live in LA, and I moved to Atlanta, and it's just hot. And that's why I think it's why I just sailed to Antarctica, actually. But yeah, I had this rubber mask on, and it couldn't see me that they couldn't be. And we were tied up and gagged as well, being led up to the hilltop front gates. And that was kind of nightmarish. But nothing quite so traumatic as that.
Speaking of Negan, you really gonna show up like this? Oh, hell no. Come on up, if you're gonna do this, you gotta do it. Come on now. You got the Negan lean going on? You got the Negan lean? You not a Negan lean? Oh, come on, you can do the lean.
I got a Callan McAuliffe.
Okay, let me see your best Negan lean. Come on. Oh, hell yeah.
Hey, let me into your heart.
Into your heart? Wow, it's like a Valentine from the Negan.
So I did have a question for you. I didn't expect to see you interview. Like, wow. I was going to come as a division agent, but I thought, this one way better. What a coincidence.
It's really not that big of a coincidence. He's been on the schedule for 4 months.
Like, wow.
He's on the poster.
After this, we're going to take a picture, maybe. After this.